What drives a man to betray his country from the inside? Who are the masterminds behind Australia's darkest criminal empires? From cold-blooded serial killers to white-collar manipulators, today we unravel real cases that stunned a nation. Stay till the end. You won't believe Criminal 7's shocking betrayal of public trust. Australia has seen many criminals over the years, but some stand out for the sheer severity of their actions. These are not minor offenders. We are talking about drug lords, murderers, and criminal masterminds who have been captured and are now serving time behind bars. Here are 10 of the most notorious Australian criminals currently imprisoned. Some of their stories are difficult to believe, yet all are real. Welcome to Crime Cipher, your home for deep dives into the world's most chilling, real-life cases. If you love psychological crime breakdowns, forensic mysteries, and justice unmasked, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Let's uncover the shadows together. 1. Bandali Debs is regarded as one of Australia's most dangerous criminals. He is a convicted serial killer who has been imprisoned for many years. In 1998, Debs was responsible for the cold-blooded execution of 2 Melbourne police officers, Sergeant Gary Silk and Senior Constable Rodney Miller. These were not random killings. They were calculated and brutal, sparking outrage across the country. Debs was also linked to the murders of 2 sex workers in the 1990s, further cementing his place in Australia's darkest criminal history. Although he managed to evade justice for some time, he was eventually convicted in 2005 and sentenced to multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. His trial sent shockwaves through the Australian justice system. Journalists described the courtroom as frozen in horror when crime scene details were revealed. Even seasoned officers admitted the sheer brutality shook them to the core. His actions were premeditated and violent, and his case remains one of the most chilling examples of true evil. Debs will spend the rest of his life in prison. 2. Alan Baker. Alan Baker's name still evokes fear in those familiar with his crimes. In 1973, alongside accomplice Kevin Crump, Baker committed a series of brutal murders that shocked the nation. They killed 2 innocent people, Ian James Lamb and Virginia Guy Morse, in acts of unimaginable cruelty. These were not random attacks. Baker and Crump were responsible for a horrifying and deliberate spree of violence. After their arrest, both were convicted, and Baker received a life sentence. Decades later, he remains in prison with no chance of release. His crimes continue to be remembered as some of the most disturbing in Australian criminal history. 3. Leon Emmanuel Sofilas. While not widely known, Leon Emmanuel Sofilas drew national attention in 2025 when he was arrested for attempting to set fire to the Newtown Synagogue in Sydney. This was not an impulsive act. It was a planned attack involving explosives and a targeted location of worship. Authorities classified it as domestic terrorism. Sofilas had a disturbing background, including links to far-right extremist groups. Law enforcement had been monitoring him due to previous threats, and his arrest prevented what could have been a catastrophic event. He is currently in custody, awaiting trial for attempted arson and terrorism-related charges. If convicted, he is expected to receive a lengthy prison sentence. Given the seriousness of his actions, he poses a serious threat to public safety and belongs behind bars. 4. Hussein Chamas. Hussein Chamas' case could be taken straight from a crime drama. In early 2025, he was arrested in Sydney for his role in a major methamphetamine smuggling ring. This was not a small operation. It involved millions of dollars and significant harm to the community through drug addiction. In addition to trafficking, Chamas was found in possession of illegal firearms, increasing the severity of the charges. He was a key figure in an organized drug network and now faces substantial legal consequences. Currently in custody and awaiting trial, Chamas may face decades in prison. His arrest marks a victory for Australian law enforcement in their efforts to combat the drug crisis. 5. Paul Lesk. The story of Paul Lesk is particularly disturbing due to his former position as a Crown prosecutor. Trusted with upholding the law, Lesk instead became involved in a serious criminal conspiracy, along with co-conspirators Farugia and Marshall, whose extremist beliefs and violent plans targeted religious sites. Lesk's case exposed a dangerous betrayal of public trust. Fortunately, authorities intervened before their plot could be executed. The group had a hit list and access to explosives, and they were prepared to carry out acts of terror. Now in custody, they face charges including terrorism, conspiracy to cause harm, and possession of explosives. If found guilty, they are likely to spend the rest of their lives in prison. 6. Graham Potter. Graham Potter's criminal history spans decades and reads like a crime thriller. First convicted of murder in 1981, Potter was later involved in a large-scale drug conspiracy in the early 2000s. He successfully evaded police for more than 12 years until he was finally captured in Queensland in 2022. Now facing charges including conspiracy to commit murder and drug trafficking, Potter is considered one of Australia's most dangerous fugitives. If convicted, he is likely to spend the rest of his life in prison. What made Potter so elusive? He used multiple aliases, changed his appearance through botched surgeries, and lived off-grid using forged identities. His manhunt stretched across states, costing taxpayers millions. When police finally nabbed him, he was disguised as a reclusive farmer, an ending more surreal than fiction. His case serves as a stark reminder that even the most elusive criminals eventually face justice. 7. Robert Gordon Polybank G. Robert Gordon Polybank G played a major role in one of Australia's largest drug trafficking operations. He oversaw a multi-million-dollar drug empire, distributing methamphetamine and cocaine across the country. After years of evading capture, G was finally arrested in 2023. His arrest was a significant blow to the criminal network he helped build, now facing serious charges. G is expected to spend decades, if not life, in prison. His case is a powerful reminder that wealth and influence cannot protect those who engage in serious criminal activity. 8. David Campbell. David Campbell was not initially known as a criminal, but by the time he was arrested in 2024, he had become one of the key figures in an international cocaine smuggling ring. He was responsible for trafficking massive amounts of cocaine into Australia and profited heavily from the illegal trade. Eventually, he was caught overseas and extradited to face charges in Australia. Campbell is currently awaiting trial and faces charges related to trafficking, conspiracy, and organized crime. Given the scale of his operation, he is expected to receive a lengthy prison sentence. 9. Todd Patrick Richard Ryan. Todd Patrick Richard Ryan's case is a striking example of betrayal from within the system. As a former employee of the Australian Taxation Office, he exploited his position to embezzle millions of dollars from the public. For years, he stole from unsuspecting Australians before his crimes were uncovered during a major investigation. In 2025, he was arrested for what has become one of the largest tax fraud cases in the country's history. Ryan is now serving time with little chance of parole. His story underscores the importance of accountability, especially among those entrusted with public resources. 10. Farugia and Marshall. These two individuals were part of an extremist plot to carry out violent attacks on religious institutions. Driven by a hateful ideology, they planned to use explosives to cause mass destruction. Fortunately, they were apprehended before they could act. Both had extensive criminal histories and ties to extremist networks. Authorities acted swiftly, uncovering their detailed plans and preventing a potential tragedy. They now face terrorism-related charges, and if convicted, will likely spend the rest of their lives in prison. Their case serves as a grave warning about the dangers of radicalization and domestic terrorism. Want exclusive deep dives and uncensored interrogations? Check out our link below for bonus Crime Cipher content, merch drops, and ways to support the channel so we can keep uncovering the truth. Every view helps us bring justice into the spotlight. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay safe, and remember, for every criminal caught, there are more still hiding in plain sight. Subscribe to Crime Cipher, because the truth is always darker than fiction.